Yeah, I know, right?
So yeah.
Straight break
All right.
next
Let me
week.
do the intro real quick. Okay, so we are going to go up into Game 2 of the Raidcall Netolic Weekly America's Cup number 6. Splash Gaming took out an extremely convincing Game 1 over Meenix Esports. The Peruvians taking the first one over Brazil to attempt to defend their title, as we've had, I think, 3 or 4 Peruvian champions in a row. And we'll see what Meenix actually brings out to counteract it. Anyway, I'm Vickerbond. My co-caster El Presidente is here. Why don't you introduce yourself once again?
I'm El Presidente. I used to have VODs, but then my computer died.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Right, well, you'll get more VODs, because
I'll
we've
get
been
more
casting, we'll
VODs.
continue to do that. Same bands coming out from Splash, by the way.
I think they just really hate these
They
heroes.
must.
But yeah, Coddle gets through, so I see a Phantom Lancer in our future.
I also see a Phantom Lancer in our future. Either Splash will counter take him right now, which is
Yeah.
I always love when that happens. I've stopped doing that lately just because it feels really smug when you say like, oh, and they're gonna take this, and then they take it, and you feel like an idiot when you say they're gonna take something that they don't. But it's always nice when you're like, oh, they'll probably counter take the buttons.
I say that with Shadow Demon all the time, and then I get really upset when no one picks Shadow Demon because it's Shadow Demon. Pick him.
He's pretty good. That's why you like Team Liquid, because they play Shadow Demon literally every game.
They play Shadow Demon, they play Wisp, they play Visage. I love Visage, man. Tri-lane hero.
Great, definitely, I love him.
One of the best tri-lane heroes in the game, to be honest.
He's very strong.
But seeing as they can't get the Phantom Lancer, I want them to pick Wisp. Wisp
Interesting.
CK.
Now the thing about picking Wisp third is that you leave yourself open to having all the Wisp pairs banned in the second
You
phase.
can't ban all of them. That's not possible.
Well, you can ban the big ones. You can take out
You
CK.
can ban Tiny, Sven, and CK, but that leaves Lifestealer.
I don't rate Tiny Wisp that highly currently.
I rate it super highly because if you throw the Wisp with a tether,
Sure, you get
That's
the
a stun.
You get the stun. I'm not saying that the TP isn't good. I'm just saying Tiny takes. Well, actually, honestly, against PL, never mind. I like Tiny Wisp against PL because he gets that tree club that gives him that passive cleave, and then if he layers on a lot of damage onto that, he can actually blow up those illusions pretty quickly. So
Also-
in this situation, sure, they could take it. They could take the. But then why don't they? Well, I don't know. If they take the Wisp now, if I'm Splash, I ban CK, Tiny, and maybe Lifestealer.
I'd say Sven, CK, and Tiny, to be honest. Just
Maybe
because Sven
Sven.
also has that passive cleave.
He does.
It's hard to say because Sven isn't really as good
Right.
at getting kills in lane
does
as
have
the
cleave,
Tiny
though,
and the
that's
CK
true.
are.
As
Honestly-
an anti-PL tech, maybe you're right.
I think Tiny's a better anti-PL just because
Yeah.
Crag Exterior does ruin Phantom Lancer's illusion stays.
I do think Tiny is definitely better against PL.
But the reason why I say Wisp Tiny is because Wisp tethers to Tiny, and doesn't pick Wisp anyways, but Wisp tethers to Tiny. You Chakra the Wisp, and now Tiny's back at max mana.
Sure, definitely true. And he has a very, very mana intensive hero that when he's playing that carry style doesn't typically get that big mana regen. So he doesn't get his arcade boots. He doesn't go like Blink Arcanes. He goes Ags, he goes Manta, he goes Drums, that sort of thing. They do ban out Lifestealer. So they're trying to make sure Meenix's #1 can't really deal with the situation here. But yeah, I wonder if we don't see a Wisp ban, I'm definitely in favor of Meenix locking Wisp for their 4th. Like, if Wisp doesn't get banned, I almost think it's ideal for them to take Wisp 4th and then whoever they're pairing with at 5th. I think that could have an extremely strong effect.
At this
Something
point-
like Wisp and then Tiny would be quite useful.
At this point, there's no way Splash can prevent Meenix from getting Wisp and another hero and a carry to pair with them. Period. The problem is you can't, with your current lineup, with Splash's current lineup, you can't decide, I'm going to pick Tiny. Can't do it.
Right. No,
Well, you could
absolutely.
mid him, but
You could do
Tiny
something
mid,
like...
that's
yeah.
that's like begging to lose a lane.
Yeah, it would be very, very difficult. Honestly, even something like Darkseer would crush Tiny mid. Yeah, the one thing is, and I think they might not go Wisp just because I haven't casted South American Dota for that long, but I find that they just don't rate Wisp very highly. Like, they don't like playing Wisp. Almost no South American teams that I've seen are very fond of taking the Wisp frequently. They'll do it. They'll do it if they see the opportunity. But frequently they'll shy away from it, even in situations where I think it might be effectively deployed.
They might be thinking Chinese Dota a little bit because I know South Americans like to 5-man a lot.
Yeah.
And in those kind of environments, Wisp is really weak.
Definitely, far weaker.
Meenix could go for a Shadow Demon to counter the Phantom Lancer, however.
Sure. And we do see the Magnus coming out because he somehow escaped a second phase ban. Meenix just relying upon taking out that mid in the form of the Queen of Pain. I like that. And then the Weaver, just because they did just a respect ban to... who was playing the Weaver?
It was...
Angel.
Yeah,
respect
Angel.
ban to Angel's Weaver. And Sand King.
Oh, that... No. That's not going to work.
The problem here, as I see it, is SK has such mana issues already. And then when you get a mana burn and Diffusal Blade from the Phantom Lancer, it's just going to be difficult.
One word, Spell Steal.
And not to mention Spell Steal, of course. I mean, if he does get his Blink Dagger, if they run that a Sand King based tri-lane, which we do see sometimes, and he gets the Blink Dagger in a timely fashion, Spell Steal won't be nearly as much of a worry, just because, I mean, he'll be stealing the Burrow Strike, which is still good, but it's not nearly as good as stealing Epicenter.
The big thing about the Epicenter steal is that it's really easy to steal because, you know, it has that channel cast time, right?
He has
but
to do
Rubik has no cast animation.
Right.
So he does it better than Sand King.
He does do it better than Sand King. I always love those spells that Rubik just has, like Fissure, like where it's just vastly better.
Anything Earthshaker, anything Centaur, anything...
Echo's about the same, but yeah.
Well, Echo actually has no cast animation.
Right,
it's
exactly.
It's the only spell in Earthshaker's lineup that doesn't.
Yeah. But yes, definitely the Fissure is in particular.
I don't know. Honestly, not sure why they picked Sand King over Shadow Demon. Because...
I mean, they wanted more team fight. I think... Sand King, in theory, the AoE can clear out illusions, although I do also prefer Shadow Demon creating illusions of your own. I think that's very strong.
You can't say you can get more team fight out of Epicenter than your own army of Phantom Lancers.
Well, early on, if you're trying to close the game out before PL becomes big, your army of PLs is not actually tremendously impressive. And so
frankly,
Sand King,
I think
in the early to mid game, I feel like does have a bigger impact.
This is true, but with Clutch Disruptions, you can prevent them from singling out a target that was hit by Reverse Polarity.
And we see Puck again. Interesting. How do you think Splash... just the solo lane Magnus, probably?
It's probably mid-mag, off-lane Puck, and then the tri-lane.
Okay, yeah, they could do that as well, I guess. And for Meenix, I'm really interested to see what they actually end up picking for the last pick. So it's going to be a number 1. And they're going to look to do something like Clock, solo... Darkseer mid, maybe, and then Coddle, Sand King in a third. They could also do... I don't even know. This is a weird lineup.
I mean,
Clockwork, if he cogs a bunch of heroes and Sand King Epicenters in on top of them, that is pretty good. It's a good combo. But much is going to rest on how they deploy the Sand King. Without doing any sort of judgment. Without being sort of parsimonious about it. If they use the Sand King well, I think it could go well. But it could also be the rock that sinks them in this game.
I think Sand King is going to be a very pivotal hero in this set. Well, they at least go Tiny, but why not Wisp? Wisp Tiny, man, for life.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the idea is I'm going to throw the Sand King, which, again, I wouldn't ever rely on Toss, because that is such an iffy mechanic. But we'll see. You can introduce Splash today.
Alright, so, Splash Gaming, Peruvian team, looking to take the Raidcall Netolic America's Weekly Cup number 6, and they're one game away from doing so. We've got Citadel this time, playing mid once again, this time on the Magnus. Then the tri-lane looks like it's going to be Angel on the Phantom Lancer, as Weaver last game was highly excellent. Haku Thor playing the Rubik, Legolas on the Nyx Assassin, and Pandora will be taking up the hard lane solo as the Puck, which is, we'll have to keep an eye on that.
For Meenix, we got Tiao Carrero taking the Coddle, the Tavo, the stand-in Tavo taking Tiny. Ned will be playing the Sand King. The solo mid will see Fuzzy, and the off lane we're seeing, where did he go?
He's still up top. He's over here.
Yeah, there's Clockwork. We'll see Cobb on the Clockwork off lane with level 1 Cogs, which is definitely the best off lane item.
For sure. And so, Tiny. If he gets his farm, that is one of the more effective single hero solutions to PL that don't involve generating illusions of it. And
yeah,
I like Tiny.
We do see this a lot from Dignitas, where they'll see a Phantom Lancer and they'll just pick up the Tiny. One, Aoi really loves playing the Tiny. I think that's one of his core heroes. But two, it's really the cleave in combination with the Craggy exterior that makes him so strong. against the Phantom Lancer, just because
Right.
the Phantom Lancer will stun himself
Yeah.
with the Crag Exterior, and because of that, it does weaken his output dramatically.
Right. Right.
And once you get to that late game period, frankly, the mana burn doesn't mean anything to Tiny. He's just right clicking.
Wow, and so Puck's signaling out for an attempted gank, but I mean, they have vision. Oh, no, they're smoked. Alright, so Rubik, Nyx, Puck are going to give it a shot. They're going to try to kill probably Keeper of the Light, if I had to guess. Here comes the lift. Damage already getting thrown out from Puck. Good chaining of the stuns here, and I think with Orb, yes, it is enough. They pick up the kill. And one kill on Puck, that will cause him to start with a substantial advantage in this mid lane. Sorry, in this side lane. And he already has his boots, and he'll be able to pick up something else on top of that. And that gives him a lot more escapability against this tri-lane.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play coming out of them. I think we're seeing Splash roaming with their support, and they're actually roaming immediately to Fuzzy in mid. And this is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to know about this because they weren't smoked when they were... Yeah, so we do see the ping coming out. Keeper of the Light saying, Darkseer, watch the heck out. And the lift comes out. They will chain it once again. The stun from Nixon. I think Citadel could easily participate in this. I don't know why he was walking away throughout the shockwave, throughout this... Oh. A little bit of a miscommunication, I feel like. That could have been a kill.
That was really good play coming out of Splash until Citadel didn't commit.
Yeah, kind of a failure of nerve, I feel like.
There's not much Fuzzy can do to prevent himself from dying.
I mean,
because
he tried his best to travel in the right, a good juke with the surge, but I feel like he still would have died if a skewer and shockwave had just gone out on him. But I mean, whatever. Citadel maybe just didn't feel confident enough that it wouldn't lead to him dying. So, still a good play. The support's putting a lot of pressure on that Darkseer in a lane that's pretty hard, frankly. Darkseer, being Magnus against Darkseer is not the most fun thing in the world.
Phantom Lancer doing really well. He has 100% last hit.
Wow, has he really not missed any?
He hasn't missed any last hits. He's missed a couple of denies, but those don't.
Yeah, but I mean,
those don't count.
I think you feel okay as PL if you got every single last hit, but maybe Rubik has like an extra level. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, Angel definitely farming up very, very quickly already.
Oh, he missed one.
He does throw out the he was throwing out Spirit Lance and he missed it as a result.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll forgive
Phantom
him
Lancer
for
bought
missing one last hit.
Yes, I'll forgive him this time. But the Quelling Blade is a fantastic item on Phantom Lancer because he has such high base damage. It's pretty nasty. They did fix that really game-breaking bug on the Phantom Lancer, where illusions kept on getting too much damage from Quelling Blade.
Right.
So that's a good thing that they fixed that, because that was actually game-breaking.
It was pretty game-breaking.
Yeah.
But it's fixed now, so we don't have to worry about it. Citadel just still getting a little bullied in this mid lane. Darkseer hasn't managed to get that many last hits, but he almost actually just threw out a kill, and he's really just having to spend his bottle charges extremely quickly as soon as he ferries it. So this is a lane that we should keep an eye on. These two roaming supports have been doing pretty good work so far. And as the Nyx and Rubik continue to roam around and try to generate kill opportunities, I think this is really a good game plan for Splash overall. Just have the Rubik and the Nyx where you need them, and just stay off the PL. Let him farm. Let him get that big money.
Yeah, and he has been getting that big money. He is by far the best.
Coming around the back, they're going to actually pincer this Clockwork. Will they actually go for it? They do have telekinesis. They have a level 1 Fade Bolt. Nyx is hanging out back here. I think they're just waiting for the exact right moment. They might push the next creep wave into the tower just so they can dive him a little better.
Honestly, they could just opt to go for the tower at this point. It looks like Cobb is sitting way far back, and he's really concerned.
Smart. I mean, he's right to be concerned. Think
Yeah,
about
I would
because he has decent anti-push just in the form of the rockets.
Yeah, rockets are... he's maxing rockets first. It's pretty old school.
It's the old school build. I was about to say that, yeah.
Just because battery assault is so powerful. It's, I think, 1,175 damage at max level.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's like Gyrocopter, except less good.
Well, it's got a mini stun on each one, so it's not... That's a pretty big advantage.
In the same cooldown period, Gyrocopter casted Rocket Barrage 4 times.
Yes. That's definitely true. I mean, it's damage. One of them is not intended just to do damage. It's more of like
the mini stun
disable.
I don't know, but against Flash's lineup, none of them have really long animations.
No, I don't think it's going to lock down anybody. There's no Enigma or even like Shadow Fiend or something here.
Yeah. And like the longest animation comes out of Magnus, and he's still gonna be able to get a spell off in between.
Yeah, he won't have any. I don't think he'll have any trouble with that. And in fact, in general, I don't know that this Clockwork is gonna do that much. If he catches out something like, I mean, obviously the Rubik, and even the Rubik can just telekinesis the Clockwork out of the cogs, thus making a safe space for himself. Did you see the LGD Orange Game 2?
No, I haven't really been able to follow anything because I was writing a research paper all day.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the Doha rounds, yes. Well, at some point you should check out LGD Orange Game 2. There's a pretty big anti-big play from a Clockwork. That's pretty fun to look at.
Oh, come on.
Taking a lot of damage under tower, but they can't actually finish it? Spirit Lance will get the kill.
I was about to get
Rubik
really
actually
upset.
dies on the flip side, but no credit actually. It's just killed by the Dire. No damage.
That
by
was
Clockwork.
That was a huge misplay from Angel.
Yeah.
If you heard me say "come on," he had 4 charges on the magic wand. Could have used it right there and got the Spirit Lance off just a little bit earlier, and saved Rubik's life. Because then Rubik wouldn't have been running underneath the tower for so long.
Right.
But
yeah, that was a pretty big do-si-do that they went on there with that Clockwork. They did eventually get the kill though, so.
It doesn't put them on
Rubik, but...
It doesn't put Meenix on the board though, because that is a dire tower kill.
Sure.
So.
It does put them on the scoreboard. You mean? Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, Clockwork has been doing pretty well, even with the 1 death. He is halfway through level 5. He's doing a little better than this Puck is doing in the other solo lane. I mean, Puck still on, partially of the way through level 5 as well, starting to move towards this phase boot, so he'll actually get it pretty soon. And a big stun coming out. They're going to chain this up with the Burrow Strike, but it might not be enough damage. Toss doesn't quite get it, and Tiny actually really has to flee. He's taking a lot of tower damage. Will Puck jump in with the orb? No, he doesn't even need to. The auto is enough, and they lose their carry. Bad situation for Meenix there. Losing the carry, really for no good reason. Just a slight bit of an overextension and a good rotation from the Rubik, enough to get him picked off.
I do like Tiny's build a lot, at least a skill build. He picked up a Hand of Midas. Don't pick a Hand of Midas when you're trying to keep the game from going late. Please, for the love of God, not against a Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they feel good about their chances late. Like, they feel like this Tiny will just get so big that they won't need to worry about it. I think that's optimistic.
I'm going to agree with you by saying that's probably very optimistic of them because, you don't want to deal with a farmed Phantom Lancer. He is, even if he isn't, like I said, even if I don't think he's a broken hero, you let Phantom Lancer get...
And the miss on the Burrow Strike. I mean, this is the problem with the level 4 Sand King. Like, his Burrow Strike just has crappy range. Yeah,
Burrow Strike is a weird spell.
It's a cool spell. I like it a lot, but you have to get levels. You have to get it to level 4 as quickly as you can, because level 1 Burrow Strike is just... kind of a piece of crap.
Awful.
Hate to say it, but it's not good. Trouble for Darkseer, actually. Does Nyx have the mana for Mana Burn? He does not, but they do have the mana for RP. And that's a 4th kill on the board for Splash.
Yeah, it's really not looking good. And Phantom Lancer is getting really farmed. He's sitting on 2,100 gold. I'd like to say Sacred Relic again, but Angel is probably just going to spite me.
I would not. I mean, he could do it, but I don't think he's going to. And honestly, I don't really rate Radiance on PL much either.
Honestly, I don't rate Radiance well on any Illusion hero.
Yeah.
It's just that when I see this much gold, why don't you just buy your 2 Blades of Alacrity and have them buried to you?
Yeah, I definitely agree about that. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's leaving his options open. Maybe the opportunity for Radiance will still present itself.
I don't know. Radiance is a farming item for PL.
Magnus walking into trouble here, but he does have Haster and enough damage to make Sand King fear for his life. Will that Burst Strike even be enough to get away? It's not. He dies to the Magnus melee. Bad situation for the Sand King. We talked about the fact that the Sand King has to do well for them to do well, and he is not doing well. He's only level 4. Magnus going to pick up another kill. Haste rune is just so good on Magnus. It's like the best Magnus rune.
It's either that or DD.
Nah, for Magnus, Haste. DD's like a TA rune.
I don't know. It's like DT is good rune. Invis, I think, is a lot of fun.
Invis is good, but I really like Haste. I mean, like...
Well, to be honest, who doesn't like Haste? It makes it harder.
Everybody likes Haste, but it's not the best rune for everybody, I feel like.
I don't know. Batrider likes Haste the most, but...
Batrider loves Haste, but for pretty much the same reason. Actually, another pickoff on Tiny while I was discussing runes. And Meenix have to get themselves back to this game, one way or another.
That was a bad death. That was a bad death for Tiny. He's gonna waste time on his Midas because of that death.
Ooh, that's always unfortunate. Your Midas needs to be going off cooldown very, very quickly, and if you can't do that, then you lose so much value on the Midas. Like, the 20 seconds that it's going to take him to get back up and running with his Midas is, you know, longer time before it actually becomes cost-effective.
Yeah, it already takes, I think, 16 minutes of usage to get your money back.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, you do get XP, so, like, it's not just the money, but yes.
Yeah, honestly, the big thing is, it's for the Midas, it's not about the money. It's always about...
They will probably get this Keeper of the Light, actually. Does Nyx have Vendetta yet? No, he's only level 4, but lots of damage getting thrown at the Coddle. Maybe not quite enough. Will the Orb hit? The Orb does hit, and Puck manages to get the pick off. Tiny, however, finally getting a kill on the board, getting that Rubik. Burrow Strike gets thrown out on Nyx Assassin. He's taking a lot of damage. He needs a better Impale than the one he's going to get, and he gets picked off, so... Finally, a few kills on the board for Meenix. Good play there. Good surrounding that Nyx Assassin to make sure that his Impale wasn't going to hit 3, because that would have let him walk away.
Yeah, that was fantastic play coming out of Meenix. A pretty good play. At least Tavo was there for those kills. So that is still going to be a big win for them.
God, Angel. This is like top caliber level farming here. I mean, 80 last hits in 11 minutes is pretty good. And Clock jumps in. He's going to... Actually, they get the Illuminate, and that's a lot of damage, but they don't have they do have detection for the Doppelwalk. Angel's in a lot of trouble. He makes the full Diffusal Blade in the last moment before dying. Good.
You know, that panic buy makes me think that he actually wanted to buy
I think he was going to buy Radiance, actually, yeah. And he just decided that rather than dying and losing all that unreliable gold, he'd just make the Diffusal. Which, I mean, if you're a PL... and you're like, oh, I'm going to have my first death of the game, I guess I'll buy full Diffusal. That's some serious first Dota World problems right there.
Yeah, pretty much. The fact is, yeah, 82 last hits, he's looking at a little under 8 last hits a minute, and that's fantastic.
That's really good. Honestly, I feel like Meenix did him a favor. They made sure he didn't make the mistake of buying Radiance.
I completely agree. That would have been one hell of a mistake. Okay, this also kind of annoys me. Phantom Lancer is not getting any points in the Phantom Edge. Even if it's not for the illusions replicating, the magic resist is worth its weight in gold.
Against Coddle? I mean, it's Tiny, Coddle, yeah, I mean, like...
Darkseer,
damage,
everything, really.
Actually, every hero.
The magic resistance is going to be worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I actually do think that that's a really questionable choice, especially considering he has ranks in Juxtapose, so he is generating illusions, so you do want the Phantom Edge. Like, it's one thing if you're going the pure Q stats and then you still take ranks in Phantom Edge, but it's another thing to have your... Yeah. We're on the same page.
Yes, we're on the same page. The only people who might not be on the same page are the people who think Radiance is a good item. I'm going to stop there because I can't...
Oh, no, Ned gets caught out. He was spotted in the Burrow Strike. That will probably be his death. Great play by Rubik, by the way. What a good Burrow Strike. They will actually get the kill. Good cogs. Traps 2. Does Tiny have... He just has Toss, no Avalanche. They might be able to get the pick off on Rubik. The Toss will get the kill on Rubik. But a Rubik for a Sand King. PL walks away and gets an assist. He's going to feel pretty good about this, honestly. And with 13 charges, why doesn't he just go kill the Tiny? Yeah.
Because he is a very passive person, this Angel.
He's playing, what people like to call Chinese Dota.
You know what? I like this kind of style of play anyways. To quote LD, we're just going to watch Angel farm. That's what this game is going to be.
Uh-oh. Tiny. He's going to get Diffusal. What? Okay, I guess not. Alright, no Diffusal. He does dodge the Avalanche. That was very, very effective. But... I don't know, he's just sort of switching gears to Sand King, still not using Diffusal. But Puck might pick this up. The Waning Rift gets thrown out, Dream Coil, and the auto attack, enough to get that Tiny. Good rotation from Pandora, picking up the pieces left by Phantom Lancer. And this Tiny, he's 3 deaths. He's working towards his Aghanims, but it's going to be a long slog, and Ned in a lot of trouble here as well. Magnus misses the Skewer, he's still alive, but Phantom Lancer gets the last hit.
I would like to note that Angel was hitting the Sand King for a 1/6 of his health every right click. There was not going to be much getting away from that regardless.
It's going to be difficult. And they pick up a tower, actually getting the last hit on Angel some more. So this guy is just amassing far.
Oh my god, what is
65 gold per minute. Not too shabby at 14 minutes.
What is Angel going to be going for next? I'm hoping it's a heart.
Radiance.
Like, I really hope
big
it's a heart.
radiance.
But he's probably gonna build a Radiance.
He's gonna make the Radiance. Here's the funny thing. That's gonna be a pretty decent Radiance timing.
Yeah, regardless, he's gonna get that. Nope, he bought an item. What did he buy?
He bought
He bought a
Yasha. I mean, yeah.
Okay,
and
so
good pickup, honestly. He's
I feel good about this. Honestly, I think Heart's more important than Yasha on Phantom Lancer, especially against Meenix's lineup.
I think Heart's gonna be good, but what you can do is get the Yasha and then go straight Heart and then finish the Manta. I actually really like that build because the movement speed and attack speed from the Yasha is actually quite good. More illusions generated, better escapability. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty important on Phantom Lancer because he's such a slow. He has such a
could be in trouble here. Nyx actually didn't use the Vendetta, but regardless, Darkseer taking a ton of damage. And there's the Diffusal, finally the first charge of it used to secure this kill. And Angel improving to 2-1-3. He is going to... He bought something else, I think?
Nah, he bought the Yasha with his 2100 gold. This is basically Meenix's nightmare continuing on.
This Tiny needs to be bigger. And they're doing a good job of protecting him now. Like, they've got this Coddle and Nyx and Sand King. All bugs look the same to me. This Coddle and Sand King are in full-time Tiny protection detail, and I mean, that's what they need. This Tiny has to hit Aghanims, and he has to start hitting items after that as well.
The problem is, because he went hand of Midas, right, he is delaying his mid-game so much.
Clockwork getting picked off in the mid again, and Splash just running rampant all over the place here. Nyx is out of mana, and actually they don't TP over. Probably appropriately, because there's 4 Splash Arrows right here.
Well, at least they got a tower for their troubles. But...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Why don't you go ahead with what you're saying?
No, there was nothing really that significant about it. It's like, but the Midas, it delays Tiny's mid-game so much, and Splash has been pushing their mid-game advantage. Even with Angel was pushing his mid-game advantage. Like, when your Phantom Lancer is this farmed, you have effectively become a mid-game hero.
Right. I mean, the fact is, when you think about PL, it's not like he has like a hard time limit. He needs a lot of farm to become effective. But if you're accumulating farm at the rate of 500 a minute at 16 minutes into the game, that time window just becomes so much narrower. If you were looking to beat him before he beats you, the time to beat him before he beats you is narrowing quickly. Now, to Meenix's credit, if you want to be facing PL late, Tiny's not a bad carry to hang your hat on, because that craggy exterior will be effective when he levels a little bit more. He will have that Aghanims. Actually, I think his Aghanims is finished right now. So as long as they start building a bunch more items on top of that Aghs, they won't be in the worst shape ever. But it'll be pretty bad.
They need to get a Yasha on him, and then they need to get an Assault Cuirass on him. And at that point, he'll be able to brawl with the Phantom Lancer to an extent. And even then, I wouldn't feel comfortable until I had a heart.
And I mean, he kind of needs BKB too for that matter.
Oh, Tiny is skipping craggy exterior.
He's not leveling it at all?
No.
Tiny. Shame on you. It's so good against PL.
It's so good against PL. Never mind that it also gives you, that armor that you don't get because you have the lowest agility growth in the game.
Right.
Oh, actually, second worst because Undying is in the game.
Yeah. What is Undying's like 1?
No, it's like 0.7.
Oh, yeah, 0.7, yeah, because Tiny's is 0.9.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. It's
not
pretty
great
awful.
Gain, no.
But now he picks up a point in craggy exterior, so maybe he's telepathic.
He's like, donate. I was gonna pick it up. I just waiting, man. I was just picking up a couple stats points. What is it? 2? Yeah, 2 attribute levels. All right.
It's even better at level 1 than it is at any other level because that's when you get 2 armor versus just 1 additional.
Right. I mean, very slightly. The damage is also... Alright, actually, they throw out an RP just to kill off Rubik. Actually, a lot wagered for this Rubik. Maybe too much. Here comes an Epicenter. Oh, it didn't happen. No Epicenter is kind of unfortunate. They do get the puck, but I feel like they wanted more. They would have loved to have more. This Rubik may die. Good cleave by the Tiny. Smart to attack the creep wave rather than the Rubik, because the Rubik was out of range. So a good play for Meenix, and finally, showing signs of life. The Clockwork survives, thank goodness, by the skin of his teeth, but he survives. Oh, what a shockwave. What a dick move from Magnus. And PL hunting as well. Will they actually do more? They might not. Keeper of the Light just sitting there, throwing out an Illuminate, deals some damage to this PL. He does have his both ranks of Phantom Edge. Tiny gets another kill, but Diffusal might get thrown out on him right here. They do throw it out, but PL taking a lot of damage. He's not very tanky. He doesn't have that heart. Nick's doing his best to help, and Spirit Lance might do the rest, or it might not. Phantom Lancer has to run away. He's only at 96 HP. Nick's trying to chase Tiny, but it's just not going to happen. He has to TP out. Will Darkseer get the vac in time? He won't, but they got Phantom Lancer. And Meenix, I was just saying they were showing signs of life. They're showing a lot of signs of life, actually, managing to turn that around and get the PL. Critical PL kill.
That was the most clutch vacuum I have ever seen. Mm-hmm. They actually managed to pull the Nyx Assassin away from Tavo before Nyx Assassin got that lethal last hit off. Yeah. So that was probably the most clutch vacuum I've ever seen. And there is a pause celebrated.
I think this is a manner pause.
This is like... We need to get ourselves back together. I can't believe we won that kind of pause. Yeah, light some cigars. Tiny's sitting on 2134 gold. That's, I think, 16 gold off of the Yasha. Please, please, for the love of God, get a Yasha.
I think it'll be Yasha. I honestly think so. Tiny's carry build is pretty well known.
Yeah, because you movement speed, 1.
Yeah.
Attack speed, 2. And Manta Style so cash.
Manta Style, amazing for Tiny. I do think he might build the Yasha, then something else, then loop around for the Manta Style, but definitely he's going to want that Yasha sooner or later.
Yeah, it's... Yep, there it is, Yasha. But, Manta Style, so good on Tiny, because the illusions still have the Demolish, and Tiny's base damage is absurd.
Right, exactly.
And he's still picking up points and stats over Craggy Exterior.
Still don't know about that.
Please, Tiny. Please, Tiny. Max Craggy Exterior before Phantom Lancer starts rolling over your face.
But Tiny, with that last fight, actually, his GPM a little better than PL's now. So good job of him for actually making sure he stays in the game, picks up that net worth, and they don't just fall irrevocably behind. They are behind on towers, and pushing is going to continue to be an issue, especially in the lane where Tiny is not. But... with the Midas is finally starting to see, he's at the point where it begins to look like it's paying off, and it has given him XP. He is, 2 levels above the PL, which is not nothing.
Absolutely. We're also seeing that the Midas is causing the XP to actually even out. Splash barely in the lead at this point, with as well as in gold. It's only a 3,000 gold lead. That's nothing.
Especially
at 21 minutes.
Yeah. That's actually less when you take out the towers.
That's absolutely
big
nothing.
Smoke coming out. They're going to go for a fight with Tiny on the opposite side of the world, which might not be the greatest idea. Magnus, good skewer, and PL is running in here. Magnus comes back in. Did he actually pop RP? No, he didn't. He failed twice, but that means he still has it. He pops it, but him and Nyx get taken down immediately. Coddle walking away, walking wounded. But here comes another kill, and this is the 3rd kill here. 3 for 0 so far. PL, oh, big Puck plays. The Illusory Orb rolls out and deals a lot of damage. But Puck's starting to get a little bit low. Tiny Avalanche will completely miss. Puck's in a lot of trouble. Terrible cogs, frankly. Oh, and Puck manages to force staff out. And the toss will kill him.
That was probably the most awful Spirit Lance I've ever seen.
Will this TP work? It will!
Who force-staffed him?
Force staff from the Clockwork.
Oh,
the
clutch.
Clutchest of force staffs. Clockwork may die. Oh, what a good cogs.
This game is basically turned into who can be the most clutch in saving the Tiny.
Yeah. These... honestly, Meenix, I was starting to get a little bored just because it seemed like Splash was going to roll, but they are styling in these team fights. Like... such stylish plays, especially that Tiny save with the force staff. I mean, goodness gracious, that was good.
We're seeing like glorious force staff saves. We're seeing glorious vacuum saves. We're seeing all the saves on this Tavo. And he is probably
where the hell was this team for the last 60 minutes?
This is where the execution. They're really showing that they did get to here with skill more than drafting, and that shows. They're really proving it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the individual plays from Meenix right now are just incredibly, incredibly good. And Haste Rune up on Rubik. They're going to try to make a play with this because Splash, I mean, they'll probably still feel okay because they do have the PL, but I feel like they can feel the game slipping away just a tiny little bit with the fact that the last 2 team fights they've initiated, they felt good about them, and they just... nothing's happening. They just sort of lose heroes and don't get much done. The Tiny now with a 3-level lead over the PL, so that Midas XP really making a difference. 700 XP per minute to 500.
the other big thing about it is that he's only 500 gold off of a Manta.
Oh yeah, you're right. He's very, very close to that Manta, and that honestly will be a great PL wave clearing tool. Here comes the Cogs and the great hook shot, but PL turning it right around. Vacuum a little bit questionable, but the Clockwork lived.
No, clutch vacuum.
Clock lived.
It's always the clutch vacuums. That's what this game is about.
How did
honestly
Clock live?
They vacuumed the Phantom Lancer away from Cobb, so they couldn't kill him.
And he was still in the Cogs, so yeah, so he couldn't actually kill him. That's incredible. I cannot believe Clockwork survived that. And
this is
Magnus in a little bit of trouble here, knocking down all the trees. Timbersaw would be proud of him right now. Big RP, but there's nothing to follow up on this. And where are the TP rotations? Are they just going to let Mag suffer here? And how did Mag not take damage from that Illuminate? How did that? I don't even know. Cogs doesn't quite get him, but Mag just taking so much damage, he's unlikely to live here anyway. Tiny with another kill, up to 9 and 3. 3,600 gold, uses his Midas. If he wants the Radiance, he can pick it up.
Alright, so we've already established that this has basically become the game to see who could be the most clutch in saving their teammates. 2 points Fuzzy, 1 point Cobb. We'll see who continues the score. And again, why aren't you maxing out Craggy Exterior?
Well, honestly, we can keep talking about it, and I agree that he should be, but he's going to hit 25 soon enough that he won't have a freaking choice. He's going to have to start being purposefully obstreperous just by, like, not leveling anything. Just leaving the leveling stream.
He's doing this despite us, I can feel it.
I think so. I mean, I've done that. I've, like, when I'm leveling No Bear, Syllabear, I will just leave points unspent rather than leveling the Bear or True Form, because both of those are betrayals to the spirit of No Bear, Syllabear.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of No Bear Syllabear.
Actually, it used to be years ago when Syllabear worked a little differently. It was a bad build, but it wasn't that bad. Now it's really bad. But there was a time in which it was, if not viable, at least it wouldn't get you left out of every game.
Okay. He picks up a Hyperstone, so it's actually going to just rush straight to the AC.
Right. I like this, actually.
I think both are good options.
Is going to be really, really good. And the Manta won't give him the armor that the AC will. And I think he feels... Manta's amazing for damage, and it's amazing for clearing up PL illusions. But they have to feel right now that killing the PL right now is not a problem. And he's far from his heart. The PL is very, very far away from his heart. 4,000.
This is like the most... what's the word I'm looking for? It's not schizophrenic. It's like eclectic build for Phantom Lancer I've ever seen. he went Diffusal 1, Yasha, right. Vitality Booster, Diffusal 2... Ultimate Orb.
So he's got most of a Manta and then a little bit
No, he actually has the Manta on its way right now.
Okay. So he will finish off the Manta before going to hard. I agree with this completely. He was so close to the Manta already that he really needs to finish it out. And that'll be good. It'll generate some more illusions. But again, if he's just going to get completely demolished by this team's damage, and especially the Tiny, I don't know. Splash are not looking that healthy right now.
I think the Heart would have been the much better option, honestly. The fact is, Tiny puts out the damage, and Angel's illusions cannot even take one swing from Tiny.
Right.
So I think the Heart is absolutely necessary, and the fact that they are delaying the Heart so much to pick up a Manta style, which is on Phantom Lancer, again, the same way for Tiny, a DPS item.
Right.
Fact is, Angel's not doing enough DPS.
He's not. He really isn't putting out the damage that they need, and they're not surviving in these fights long enough. And Meenix is going to start with an initiation pincer motion here in the spot where the play was made. Avalanche will miss in a big RP. Actually, this could turn completely around on them. Huge team fight combination going on from Splash, and 4 down. It's just the Tiny doing what he can, doing a lot of damage, but he's lifted up by the telekinesis. And Splash, once again, the second turnaround in this game. A huge team fight for them. Tiny manages to pick up 2 kills somehow. But, wow. What an RP.
Yeah, what an RP. He managed to get all of the big supports that would have kept Tiny fighting that entire set. Namely, the Darkseer, and the Clockwork, and the Sand King. I believe he got those 3. Might have missed the Coddle. I don't know what happened to the Coddle.
I don't think he got the Coddle, but...
Yeah, he didn't get the Coddle, because the rest of them died all in the same spot,
right.
So... Right. Yeah, it seems like Coddle just melted. And those were the 3 supports that are really going to be keeping Tiny fighting in all of these fights. More so than the Coddle, really. So it's... Good Clockwork, good Sand King, good Darkseer is going to make good Tiny. Right. And good Tiny equals... Dead Splash.
Dead Meenix, you mean? Oh, yeah, no, I get what you mean. I got what you meant.
Yeah,
I mean, what a critical team fight, because just as they feel the game maybe pulling away a little bit, they get a huge infusion of gold onto this Phantom Lancer. And now, far from being far from Heart, he's actually quite close to Heart. He's almost at the Reaver, and then it'll just be the recipe, so he's about 1,700 gold off from getting that.
Honestly, that's like 3 minutes of farming. He's going to be there by the 30-minute mark, and that's good timing on the Heart, especially after Mantis Style. Getting it after a Mantis Style, that's good timing. Getting it before a Mantis Style, you would have wanted it like 7 minutes ago, but good timing nonetheless. It's gonna be a good Heart, and the fact is the Heart, Phantom Lancer, Heart, Diffusal to Mantis Style, that's dangerous no matter who you are.
Sure. Even
Tiny, especially without maxing out Crag Exterior, is going to have an issue.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be difficult. And Meenix, just as they sort of felt that they were feeling comfortable again, they once again find themselves with a serious uphill climb. Good news, Cuirass complete on Tiny. He's got 1,000 gold on top of it, so they will be putting out a lot of damage. They just need to make sure that they don't get in as difficult of a fight as they found themselves in previously. Problem, the Sentry Ward spotted out the Smoke Ink, so they're... I don't know.
I'm not sure if the Sentry Ward got them. It might have. I didn't see it.
I think they walked right over it, so it's possible that Splash saw it, which is not to say that they did. It's hard to spot people out on the top of a Sentry Ward just because its vision is so bad.
Oh,
Rubik in a vulnerable position here, but the flip side is he reveals the Darkseer solo. So Darkseer has to truck the heck out of here, actually. He's Dream Coiled. Oh, sorry, not Darkseer. It's for
Darkseer.
My bad. And Clockwork will go down pretty quickly. Sanking did his best. Did he actually get the Epicenter off?
No.
I don't think he did. So another fight in which Meenix just don't get their team fight off. Clockwork buys back. Sanking is still up. Magnus is trying to make it out of the fight. A Burrow Strike goes in them. Meanwhile, Puck is chasing Sanking. There's just people chasing people all over the place here. Sanking, good juke, but he's only at 10 HP. Meanwhile, PL manages to pick off the Tiny. They lose the Sanking. They lose the Keeper of the Light. And so this is a pretty bad fight for Meenix. Again, 3 for 0. Just the Clockwork getting caught out forces them to initiate where they didn't really want to, and in a position that's not really that favorable for them.
I think it was a little bit of a misplay on Cobb. He got caught way out there.
He did.
The big problem was Rubik stole the hook shot, and that's what interrupted the Sand King.
Oh, wow. Big plays from Rubik then, definitely. I didn't actually see that, but that's very, very big. I mean, the Epicenter would have changed the tenor of that fight substantially.
Yeah, it would have been a dead
Citadel, dead Epicenter, to be fair, but it's still
dead
substantial now. I mean, substantial.
At level 1, it's still 610 damage and has slow.
Yeah. Fuzzy jumping in, but immediately gets stunned. Clockwork, actually, they cogs Angel, and that's going to be a lot of damage. They might take down Angel here, and the cost of Clockwork, that's a reasonable trade. They didn't even have to use Tiny to actually get that kill. So very well played by the non-Tiny members of Meenix there to just get the PL and stop the push dead in its tracks, because it's certainly not going to continue now that the PL is gone.
The big problem that Splash are going to see is that they're pushing into a Darkseer and a Coddle.
Right.
They're not. This is going to be a game that's going to last another 30 minutes if Meenix wanted to.
Well.
And I can hear the disappointment coming out of your voice.
No. I mean, I think you might be right, but it's also possible. If the PL gets big enough, they win another team fight, they could just roll over and get the tower.
This is true. But then you have to keep in mind, Darkseer Wall, Phantom Lancer Army.
Sure.
And because Phantom Lancer never builds damage items, the Darkseer illusions will actually hit harder than Phantom Lancer.
Right, because of the extra percent, yeah. Yep, very true. And a good Roche by Meenix here. They actually made sure that there were no wards to see them, and then realized that that would offer them the opportunity for a free Roche. And is that actually the first Roche of the game?
That was the first Roche of the game.
Alright, so the first Roche on the board goes to Meenix. I do really like Splash's vision, other than the fact that they lost that Roshan ward, but I like the ward here in mid. I like the ward here on the high ground. This is good precursor for a push if they do it in the next 6 minutes. And then, of course, getting a little bit more vision here and here. So, good vision, definitely, from Splash. They know more about what's going on the map than Meenix do, certainly. But the flip side is Meenix managed to get up an Aegis on Tiny, and so they won't need to worry about him getting picked off early in a fight because he can just get right back up.
Yeah, the problem is if Tiny does die last,
right,
there's going to be issues.
I mean, the same thing as the last, the big fight at the play region, the bottom of the bottom river, where Tiny was the last person up, and he got a kill, but he didn't nearly get to the point of just like winning. Tiny's not Spectre, like he's not just going to tank everything and still win.
Yeah, but that's because Spectre just reflects 22% of every little bit of damage in her way.
Right.
holy Jesus, you build like 3 hearts on her and everyone will die before you will. That's for certain.
A little bit of trouble in this Darkseer here. Actually, really good timing for his surge, but maybe not even good enough. Maybe good enough. They're still chasing him. They might throw out a... Wow.
Oh!
What a vac, but the defusal is going to lead to the death of this Darkseer, and he does not have a buyback. He had Blink Dagger, and it almost came off cooldown, but not... And a good vac, honestly. He played well, but not well enough.
Honestly, I thought Magnus accidentally popped his reverse polarity, but he
canceled. He's really good about canceling, actually. He's done it several times this game.
Yeah, he was on the ball for that cancel right there. He almost wasted it.
Yeah, for sure. But still, they get the defeat. A worthy use of it just to take that Darkseer out, because it really means that Meenix can't brawl without the Darkseer. I mean, he's been so critical to so much.
Yeah, we do see Tiny sitting on a lot of gold, actually. What did he buy? He bought some...
No, he didn't buy anything. He's just going to make the Manta next.
Weird. He had more than 2,200 gold a minute ago. There's something in the stash, so I think I'm just imagining things.
Maybe. What were you imagining?
That he had more gold, I guess.
Alright, fair enough. No, I thought you said you imagined that he bought something. I was wondering, what do you dream of this tiny building?
Manta? Yeah. That's about it.
That's so prosaic. Think bigger. Think rapier.
Think rapier. I could see that.
It does cleave. He's got a cleave.
He's got a cleave. I could see rapier being the counter to everything that is Splash.
It is. I mean, you'll clear out those illusions right quick, won't you?
We can't go one game without mentioning rapiers, can we?
Maybe if it weren't such a good item.
Oh man, every game rapier. That is the end all be all here. The best thing about the rapier though is that Phantom Lancer doesn't even like rapiers that much. He's not good at using them.
Right, it's not that substantially useful. I mean, the damage isn't going to percolate, and
although Magnus will have a field day with it.
That's true. It's pretty good. I mean, Empower Rapier, pretty decent. In fact, I would say that Rapier is core on Magnus as a result of Empower. It's that Dendi build, right? I mean, Dendi always going Battle Fury on Magnus in the dark days of Navi being a bad team.
You know what? I didn't really think Kuroki was going to work out for Navi, but it is turning out that
really well.
That Puppy and Kuroki's previous experience has been working out quite well for them as.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. It's really just it's like a social thing. Like they know each other, they're comfortable with each other, they play well together, and I just feel like one of Navi's strengths was always they've got a really stable roster and they're all friends. And I think honestly, like as hippie-ish as it might sound, I think that was sort of the problem. Like they stopped being that close, and so when they reinvigorated those like social ties by bringing on more friends, it's like now they're happy again. Now they like playing Dota.
I completely agree. Honestly, though, I still thought Havos was going to be the one being dropped, not ours art. I mean, not Art Style and Light of Heaven, because those guys.
What do you mean Art's art?
Yeah, sorry, Art's art.
Oh, Cogs, we're gonna have a fight. Clockwork, good angle there, but he's taking a lot of damage already. He will die, and not that much done yet. RP just on Tiny, but that's fine. Tiny Illusion on the table. A big skewer, actually, and Tiny's still taking a ton of damage. 3 heroes down. Tiny about to lose his Aegis, and still nobody down for Splash. Meenix just can't seem to find the actual damage. And once again, Tiny versus World. This is an area where World has an advantage. And it looks like he may get a kill, but that's about it.
Oh. No, only 1 kill. I thought he got 2. I was wrong.
Just the one. Darkseer, meanwhile, hunting. Oh, will he get this? He doesn't have mana for... he does if he soul rings. There we go.
He blinks.
Magnus down. Darkseer, the character, having a little cackle there. Dude, don't cackle. That was a hard kill for you.
Oh, was that a hard kill? But they're not going to be able to defend their base now.
Yeah, I mean, no Tiny. He does have buyback, actually. They might have to. I mean, I don't think they can afford to give away these Raxes here. In fact, I really think he should buy back. We do get the Vacuum getting thrown out and a Sentry Ward just to make sure they catch up with Peel. Peel actually out of mana, and they do jump on him. Clockwork cogs him up, and Sand King is in there and Pipe. But he gets telekinesis out. Angel is still on the field, and Sand King doesn't have his Epicenter cooldown yet. Angel's still taking a lot of damage, but he's still walking away. Do they actually peel off of him? Why are they trying to go for Puck? Puck is actually blinking away, and they're not going to get this Puck either. They might do it. No, Sand King can't find the route. And this is really bad of Meenix. They should have stick to the ball, and they should have tried to get Angel.
That was bad.
One character has a blink, the other one doesn't have a blink and doesn't have mana to double walk. Chase the one that doesn't blink.
Chase the one that can only run slowly.
Yeah, oh no. And I mean, Clockwork in a bit of trouble here as well. Nyx Assassin throwing out a bunch of damage to that Vendetta. He has got Blink Dagger too. So this is starting to be an incredibly mobile composition. Puck with the Blink and Force Staff, and Nyx with the Blink, and Rubik with the Force Staff, and Magnus with the Blink. That's a lot of blinks.
Bad news for Meenix. Phantom Lancer picks up his Talisman of Evasion.
Oh, he's had it for a bit. I mean, he's going to move
towards
the Butterfly. Yeah, he's had it and he's going to have the Butterfly pretty soon. They really need to kill him there, in my opinion.
That is a nightmare for Tiny, though. He has such big swings that every miss is huge.
Yeah, I mean,
and he might need to even... He might even need to forego a Manta for an MKB. I think he's got to
go MKB as soon as possible and worry about the Manta later, because that evasion is going to be extremely problematic for dealing the damage you want to do as Tiny. Because every cleave you miss is damage not done to any of the things that you were trying to cleave.
You really have to... Yeah. Either that or you have to find something else to cleave.
Right.
And hope for the best.
Yeah, you can do that. But the problem here is they're in that position that everybody hates being in against PL, and why everybody whines about PL, which is he's not going to find anything else to cleave. Because Splash don't have to wager anything other than PL illusions to push effectively. I mean,
of course, this is also why Coddle is considered... Like, everyone bitches and moans about Coddle, because Coddle's just pushing back all the lanes without any really troubles. Yeah. It's both sides doing what everyone hates.
So Splash looking to close this out. I mean, very slowly, choking down sort of Meenix by pushing in each lane with PL illusions, and Meenix doing their best to counteract it with Keeper of the Light Illuminates. Here's the problem, as far as I see it. When you're in that position where you're essentially locked in your base for the duration of the game, it's not that you can't win, but you have to think like, okay, we are never going to have our like GPM or like development be as high as the other teams. So can we win with what we have right now? And if you can't, then you sort of end up having to do crazy stuff like smoke all the way out of your base and try to like 5-man a tower or something. And Splash still has all their 3 tier 2 outer towers, which makes it difficult to do anything like backdoor play.
Absolutely. It's I do say that the bigger problem I see with being on the defense, and this is what they are, if you lose a fight, you're losing 1-2 sets of racks.
Sure.
And Splash, honestly, they should just force the issue. They have up there it is.
Ooh, Tiny gets Force Staffed. Good play. A lot of damage being thrown at them already. Puck up in the Yule Scepter. They do RP and...
Oh, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be fucking kidding. Like, oh my god.
Big pause.
Oh my god.
Big pause. And we will continue with a big skewer and a lot of damage being thrown out. Tavo is going to go down. He's going to have to buy back if they have any hope. He does insta buyback. This tower is going down quickly. It does actually have backdoor protection, but not quite enough to keep it alive against the giant PL army. PL out of mana again. They're going to try to chase him down. They should actually stick to the issue at hand this time. They won't do it again. At the last second, Meenix decided not to pursue Phantom Lancer, and he misses an Avalanche too. And now he's in a ton of trouble. He is sheeped down by this puck, and so much CC and damage going out. Tavo gets a kill, but is it enough? Not even nearly. They pop him with the Yules for dubious reasons, but Tiny down. 90 seconds. No buyback.
That's a Rax.
That is at least a Rax, possibly more.
Honestly, they could probably just get the top one really quick as well.
I mean, easily. I think they can just transition over. I mean, this is a PL with Heart. You can just tank the tower. Citadel's not particularly feeling healthy, but how are they going to kill the Heart PL without Tiny? I think they can.
They'd have to bank on Darkseer, but Darkseer doesn't have a wall.
Darkseer.
And there goes Cobb.
Blade just burning all the mana of Meenix.
Oh, sorry, I just saw the Magnus die mid-skewer, and that was really funny.
Yeah, I always love when that happens, actually. It's pretty... Oh! Killing, double kill for Keeper of the Light. This could be the beginning of a glorious comeback.
Yeah.
And yes, probably not. Ooh, good Burrow Strike dodge.
Yeah, just in case people don't know, no, Mana Leak is not a debuff. No, you can't dispel or purge it by any means. It uses the same mechanics as Rupture. It's a trigger.
Just so people know, Keeper of the Light's pretty OP.
Yeah, he's pretty OP. On a scale of 1 to 10 on the OP scale, he's like a 12.
And I think we saw Meenix. Yep, they did call GG. And so Splash Gaming, your Raidcall Netolic Weekly America's Open Cup number 6 winners, taking a pretty convincing 2-0 over Meenix. The second game started out looking like it wouldn't be close, then got very, very, very close indeed due to some huge plays on the part of Meenix. And then Splash just getting it together, making sure they won team fights, making sure that they locked down that Tiny, and just really showing that on this day they're the stronger team with just a little bit more robust gameplay.
I think it really comes down to the fact that once they managed to find some room, Splash, Angel took advantage of it, and he got lots of gold. He got lots of gold.
He is ending this game at 30,000 net worth. Like, that's pretty big.
Actually like 800 GPM.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Let's see what exactly it was. 719. So that is an abundance of gold, and something that's difficult to deal with even for a hero as effective at countering Phenomancer as Tiny is. So Meenix, I think they played well. I think in both cases they picked a non-traditional support pick, which I like, but they didn't leverage it quite as well as I would have liked. Like this Sand King, did he land an epicenter?
No, he didn't get a single epicenter off this entire game.
So if you have Sand King, you need epicenter. Like you need to get your epicenter off. And so the Sand King in game 2, the Warlock in game 1, maybe these are picks that could have worked out better for Meenix. But that said, this is their first participation in this weekly tournament. They got to the grand finals. They put up a pretty great fight, including some just astoundingly big plays. Like some of those Darkseer Vacs, and even the Clockwork Hooks were really, really, really good. So, I mean, a team with a lot of individual talent, it's just a matter of sort of narrowing and sharpening that strategic edge to know what you're going for and make sure you execute, especially early.
Absolutely. I think it really comes down to Meenix. If they did go for more traditional support options, they probably would have stood a much better chance at winning. Like if they went for the Shadow Demon instead of the Sand King, if they went for, I don't know, the Shadow Demon instead of the Warlock there too.
If they went for the Shadow Demon instead of like the Tiny, I mean, no problem, man, no problem.
You know, but it's like there's a reason why Shadow Demon came to the forefront of the current meta. Like he didn't see play for the longest time, and it's because Life Sealer and Phantom Lancer started showing up. And Shadow Demon is the counter to those heroes. Right? It doesn't require any gold investment other than the gold investment provided by the enemy team. And it's a huge return. It doesn't take any effort. So honestly, I think it really did come down to the Shadow Demon. Would have been a big... I don't know if it would have been enough for Meenix, right? Because we did see that Splash really executed. Right? They were fantastic about their execution. I don't know if it would have been enough, but I think it would have given Meenix enough advantage to at least maybe win the second game that we saw. Right? Because they were very close to finishing at one time. The problem was that the Sand King just never really provided enough impact for any of these team fights to make it worthwhile to pick him up. It also didn't help that like the one epicenter that would have turned the game around got interrupted by a stolen hook shot.
Yeah, rough. I mean, tough situation to be in, and great job stealing that hook shot, by the way, because like that's not a trivial thing to steal since Clock almost always cogs immediately after.
Yeah, it was fantastic play coming out of both sides.
Definitely.
Good game. We'll probably see them next week too. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll see both these teams come up again. All right, so that's gonna be a wrap for this week 6 of this tournament. Again, if you're watching this and you are interested in entering your team to win money and play good games, the site is netolic.tv, netolic.tv, and you can just sort of find the tournaments that are good for your team. Sign up. It's an open tournament. I don't think there's an entry fee or anything.
There is no entry fee. This is literally you show up and you can win $50 for your team.
Yep. So yeah, good games, and thanks for casting with me, El Presente. You wanna? I know you don't have a Twitter. You don't have VODs, but maybe there's something you want to promote or even shout.
I have nothing to. You know what? I'm just hoping that maybe this becomes permanent, so I don't have to say I have a channel.
You can just say, "Well, this is my channel." All right, fair enough. Thanks, dude.
I'm mooching off of Vic. That's what I'm doing.
All right, man.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Have a good one.
Yes. Yeah. Night.
All right, folks. That's my last cast for tonight. I have been really burning the midnight oil doing write-ups and stuff, as well as watching some of the Asian leagues. But But I don't think there's actually anything on tomorrow. Oh, no, there is, but I will not be watching it because I like sleeping. So, actually, lots of cool games tomorrow. I might end up casting one of these. We'll see. At any rate, hope you had fun today. Again, VODs for this will be up on this channel pretty much immediately after I'm done casting here. And the Premier League, I mentioned this to El Presidente while we were casting, but I really, really do recommend, and not in a self-interested way, that you check out Fnatic versus Team Liquid, all 3 games today on the Premier League, because they were good freaking games. Really, really, really good games. And so I don't think you'll regret if you check those games out. And that'll be on Twitch TV / the Premier League. Anyway, I have been doing not casting, but commentary coverage on the We Play Dota 2 League, which is casted by Beyond the Summit, so primarily LD, with assists from Pyrion Flax, Bruno, and just a rotated cast of Beyond the Summit friends. It's a cool tournament, honestly. They have a really cool GSL-style structure of the group stages, and it has some of the best teams in the world. You should check it out by picking up the tournament ticket. And the reason I brought it up is because I have actually been doing blog-style sort of write-ups and coverage of it that you may find interesting. And that's on my website. That's at vykromond.com, VYKROMOND. Anyway, hope you guys had fun watching this game. It was a 2-0, but actually the second game I think was pretty close, and there was a point at which Meenix were likely to... I felt like they were likely to turn it around. It just didn't quite work out. A couple of their smoke ganks didn't end up going off. But regardless, well played by both teams. We do have Splash taking their first championship, and again, they dethroned Isurus, who were the champions 2 times before. And Peruvian Dodo continues to be pretty impressive. I mean, they've got essentially a lock on this tournament, and we do see some Peruvian teams reaching up into the higher, echelons of competitive play. In the We Play tournament, Isurus, obviously, they did get eliminated, but they put up a pretty good performance right there in the Group E stage. And then we're going to see another Peruvian team, Arctic, I think, who actually used to be Gamers University. And we'll see how they do as well. So an interesting country, sort of developing new teams that are trying to sort of take South America to that next level of competitiveness. Obviously, we do have Pain Gaming as well representing SA. And so that's something we're going to keep an eye on as well. And I'll continue covering it both here and on my blog. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am...